Animal testing is known as the processes performed on live animals for research, cosmetic, and medicinal purposes. Most of the testing done is on rabbits, mice, guinea pigs, hamsters, farm animals, monkeys, and dogs. Humans have depended on animal testing for thousands of years just for our own benefit. However, many people fail to realize or even acknowledge the pain and suffering animals endure because of this testing. After all, more than 35% of people aged 18 to 34 still support animal testing, according to U.S. public support in opposition to animal testing in cosmetics. Nearly 100 million innocent animals lose their lives each year because of animal testing alone. Animal testing is inhumane and inaccurate. Furthermore, human volunteers and alternative methods can be used instead to bring an end to the torture known as animal testing. I think animal testing is wrong, and after truly understanding the processes and being aware of better alternatives, you will too. Animal testing is done by rubbing or injecting products into the animal's skin and organs or by forcing them to eat or inhale harmful toxins. The purpose of doing this is to determine whether or not the products being tested are effective and safe for humans, at the expense of animals. According to animal experimentation, 97% of the helpless animals being used for testing are euthanized afterwards. To make matters worse, the methods used to euthanize the animals are painful and cruel. For example, testers will suffocate the animals with carbon dioxide, break their necks, or decapitate them, as animal experimentation explains. Not to mention, the remaining 3% of animals that are kept alive after undergoing poisoning, brain damage, and much more are left in terrible health. Two of the most common tests done on animals are called skin and eye irritation tests, or the DRACE test. As prosandcons.org explains, the DRACE test, typically done on rabbits, consists of trapping the animal in a metal cage and shaving their stomachs or clipping their eyelids to prevent blinking. Then, products that may come in contact with human eyes are injected into the caged animal's eyes or stomach. This may be cosmetics such as eyeliner and eyeshadow or chemical-filled supplies like Windex and pesticides. This test is extremely painful and often results in blindness, swelling, bleeding, and ulcers. Animals deserve their freedoms just as much as humans do. After all, the animals suffering for these products aren't even the ones who are going to be using them. Why should any animal have to suffer and lose their lives just for our own benefit? Not only is animal testing cruel, but many scientists and researchers also believe it is ineffective, as explained by alternatives to animal testing. This is because humans and animals do not have the same genetic makeups. A product that was tested on an animal is likely to have a different result when testing it on a human. Alternatives to animal testing even tells us that 95% of drugs that were safe and effective when used on animals failed in human trials because they were dangerous or ineffective. More than half of the testing researchers are doing on animals is a waste. Millions of animals are suffering and losing their lives for trials that are not accurate. According to prosandcons.org, in the 1950s, a sleeping pill caused 10,000 babies to have severe deformities at birth. Tests of this sleeping pill were performed on animals. However, none of the animals' offspring showed the same birth defects. There are many safer and more humane alternatives to animal testing in today's world. For example, vitro testing, as described by prosandcons.org, is a process of isolating human tissues and cells. Chemicals are then tested on these now isolated tissues and cells. This process is entirely outside any living organisms while still testing for irritation. However, vitro testing, unlike animal testing, does not cause harm to any animals or even humans. When testing on human volunteers, they are able to verbally consent to the testing, unlike animals that are oblivious. In addition to the vitro testing, alternatives to animal testing tells us that 3D printing is becoming more reliable and a safe alternative to animal testing. Using 3D printing, testers are able to bioprint tissues and organs resembling those a human would have. These alternative skins can be tested in the same way that an animal skin would be because they are made from real human skin cells. Alternatives to animal testing even tells us that the alternatives are oftentimes more cost-efficient, faster, and more effective. A recent example of this can be seen with the COVID-19 pandemic. The researchers that were developing the vaccine did not perform trials by testing on animals and instead began testing it on humans. This allowed the companies to develop an effective product in a much shorter timeline, all while saving pain and suffering for animals. It is our responsibility to use our voices and take action to end animal testing. You can do your part as well by using only cruelty-free products. Animal testing is inhumane and has been proven to be unreliable. Furthermore, every animal in this world deserves to be here just as much as us humans. Together, we can bring an end to animal testing.